When you think about cybersecurity, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably web applications, right? Big, sprawling networks. But what if I told you one of the biggest risks out there is an application running right on your desktop? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these thick clients and explore the unique ways they're tested and attacked. And this quote from Packet Labs, man, it just hits the nail on the head. We've all gotten pretty good at scanning websites for vulnerabilities, but these desktop apps, they often fly completely under the radar. And think about it. They're installed right on a user's machine. They handle critical business logic. And for an attacker, they can be a wide open door to your most sensitive data. Okay, so let's really dive into this blind spot. To understand the risk, we first have to get on the same page about what we're even talking about. So a thick client is basically a powerful, self-contained program on your computer. You probably use them every day. Think about apps like Slack or Zoom, or maybe some specialized software for your job. Now, the key difference here is that so much of the processing, the actual thinking, happens locally, right there on your machine, not on some remote server. This creates a totally different and way bigger attack surface compared to a website that's mostly contained inside your browser. Generally, these apps are built in one of two ways. You've got your two-tier model, where the app on your desktop talks straight to the database. It's fast, it's efficient, but as we're about to see, it can leave that database dangerously exposed. Then there's the three-tier model, which is a lot more like a modern web app. It puts a middle layer, an application server in between. That server acts as a gatekeeper, and it's a much more secure setup. For any security pro, figuring out which architecture you're dealing with is literally step one. So, how on earth do you find vulnerabilities in something so complex? Well, you don't just start clicking buttons and hoping for the best. There's a science to it. Security testers use a very structured, methodical approach. The whole process really breaks down into these four key phases. First, you just gather information, reconnaissance, to map out the application and understand what it does. Then, you jump into two different kinds of analysis: static, where you're looking at the code without ever running the program, and dynamic, where you're poking and prodding the app while it's live. And finally, you analyze how it talks over the network. Each step builds on the last one. And this slide lays out that difference perfectly. Think of it this way. Static analysis is like reading the blueprints of a building. You can find design flaws, see how it's all put together. But dynamic analysis, that's like walking through the actual building, turning on faucets, flipping light switches, and shaking the walls to see what breaks. You absolutely have to do both to get the full security picture. Now, to pull all this off, you can't just use your web browser's developer tools. Pen testers have a whole specialized toolkit for this kind of work. So let's take a look at what's inside. Okay, in those early recon stages, you're going to see tools like Process Explorer. It's awesome for seeing what files, what libraries the app is actually using under the hood. Wireshark is a must-have for just watching the raw network chatter. Then for static analysis, when you want to look at the code, you've got decompilers like DMSpy for .NET apps, and the big one, Ghidra. Yeah, Ghidra is a full-blown reverse engineering framework that came from the NSA. It's seriously powerful stuff. Now, when it's time to analyze the running application, the dynamic phase, things get really interesting. You have Process Monitor, or Procmon, which lets you see every single file and registry key the app touches in real time. But Frida is next level. It lets a tester reach inside the running application and literally change how it works on the fly. And for network traffic, you've got Burp Suite for anything web-related, and for all the weird custom protocols that clients love to use, there are tools like Echo Mirage. And this image really gets to the heart of it all. This whole game is called reverse engineering. It's not just one tool or one technique. It's the art of combining all these static and dynamic approaches to piece together how a program works from the inside out, even when you have zero access to the original source code. So we've got the methodology, we've got the tools, but what do they actually find out there? Let's look at a couple of classic, high-impact vulnerabilities that pop up in thick clients all the time. Now, that might sound a little dramatic, doesn't it? But it's the real-world consequence of a very common attack called DLL hijacking. So here's the play-by-play. When a Windows application needs to load a library, what's called a DLL, it looks for it in a specific, predictable order of folders. Now, if the DLL it needs is missing from where it's supposed to be, Windows doesn't just give up, it keeps looking in other folders down the list. An attacker can abuse this by planting a malicious DLL with the exact same name in a location that gets searched early. The application finds the attacker's fake file first, loads it up, and boom, the attacker's code is now running on your machine. And you might be wondering, how does a tester even spot this? This is where a tool like Process Monitor is gold. They can literally watch the application try to load a DLL and see it fail, getting a name not found error. That error is a massive red flag. It's like a big blinking sign that says, hey, you can plant a malicious file right here. All right, let's talk about another classic, and I mean classic vulnerability, SQL injection. This attack has been around forever, but it is still incredibly effective. It's all about tricking the application's database into running commands that it absolutely shouldn't be running. Hey, remember that two-tier architecture we mentioned earlier? Well, this is where it comes back to bite you, hard. Because the client is talking directly to the database, it often sends the raw database commands, the actual SQL queries, right over the network, sometimes in plain text. A pen tester can just sit there with Wireshark and see every single query. And once they can see that traffic, they can change it. And here's the magic trick. They can inject a simple little string like this one. This piece of logic basically changes the database's instructions to, hey, find the user where the password is correct or where 1 equals 1. And since 1 always equals 1, the database says, sure, that's true, and the check passes. Just like that, an attacker can log in as any user they want, no password required. Now, if you're thinking, wow, I want to try this, you are in luck. You don't have to go and attack a live system. There are applications that were built to be intentionally vulnerable, specifically for learning. DVTA and DVJA are fantastic, safe playgrounds where you can get your hands dirty and really see how these attacks work firsthand. So let's bring this all home. This isn't just some fun, theoretical exercise. Proactively testing these thick clients lets you find the holes before the bad guys do. It helps you meet tough compliance standards. But most importantly, it's about protecting sensitive data, maintaining trust with your customers, and avoiding the absolutely massive cost and headache of a data breach. And I'll leave you with this one final thought. The most critical, most important software your business runs on every single day, it might just be a thick client. It's a core part of your world, but from a security point of view, it's often a complete black box. So the question you have to ask is, do you really know what's hiding inside?